Hey guys, Wing It Wade here, back with another Borderlands video, and today I'm doing my Flak build video. I finally finished it, and I'm quite enjoying playing at the moment. So this one's based on using the loader bot as my pet, and giving my loader bot as much damage as I can, with still keeping Flak competitive. So let's go through it. We'll start off with the newer skill tree. So you can see I've got the warloader bot, and that's all the way down here, hence why I've put a fair amount into the skill tree. As I said earlier, the main thing with the skill tree is I'm giving my loader bot a bunch of damage output, and I'm doing that using splash damage and critical damage output that my loader bot benefits the most, but Flak does also benefit just as much. So I'll start off with the first skill, and that is Gotta Go Fast. Pretty basic. Flak's pet gains increased movement speed and damage, so I'm getting an extra 35% damage output from my pet, and an extra 40% movement speed for my pet, which is all good. Success imminent. So whenever Flak or their pet shield break, it has a chance to create a nova, and it's a radiation nova, and this is really helpful because I'm using gamma burst to give my pet a little bit of a boost, and this just helps that out. You can see the nova damage is 7,584, and it's got a relatively short cooldown time, so this is doing a nice amount of damage. I put 1 point into better toys. This is just so that Flak and their pet gain increased shield recharge rate. So I'm using the 40 star shield, and I have another skill where my pet gets a copy of that shield, and the 40 star shield just adds to this nova damage, and this is just a skill that helps out that shield and using its ability. We've got Throat Ripper, so this is a hunter skill. Flak's pet attacks have a chance to score critical hits. As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of critical hit damage coming from our pet, and this just increases the critical hit chance. I mentioned earlier we've got a copy of Flak's shield onto the pet, which is really handy. We've got Monkey Do, so Flak's pet gains increased critical hit damage. I'm getting an extra 70% critical hit damage from this, and whenever Flak's pet scores a critical hit, Flak gets a shot to deal bonus damage, and that's another extra 70% of weapon damage, just keeping Flak a bit more competitive so he's not out of the running. Onto the master skill tree. So I mentioned that I've got Gamma Burst. Out of all the skills that Flak has, so you've got Rack Attack, Fade Away, and Gravity Snare, Gamma Burst is the one that buffs up our pet a lot more, and that's really helpful for this build. We've got Ferocity, so Flak's pet deals increased damage. We've got another 80% damage covered for our pet there, and I've got 3 skill points from my class mod. Go for the Eyes, I've got 5 skill points in this. When Flak's pet attacks an enemy, the first melee attack is an automatic critical hit. This is giving me an extra 75% critical hit damage for my pet, which is really handy at giving my pet high damage output. We've got He Bites, so when Flak's pet takes damage, the pet returns some of that damage to the attacker, and that's 20% at the moment, and I'm getting another point from my class mod. This is a really good skill to have for any pet build, and I highly recommend it. Frenzy, so this is another hunter skill. When Flak's pet deals damage, Flak and their pet gain a stack of Frenzy. Each stack of Frenzy increases damage, and this is just giving us more damage output for both the pet and Flak. Psycho Head on a Stick, so this is a hunter skill. Whenever Flak kills an enemy, their pet gains increased movement speed and damage. For 1 point, it was worth it. It's giving my pet an extra 20% damage and a little bit more movement speed, so very helpful for this build. Barbaric Yorp, so this increases the power of the pet bonuses granted. You can see my pet bonuses are getting an extra 80%, which can be helpful for the overall build and getting that high damage output for my pet. We've got Pack Tactics, so all damage dealt by Flak and their pet is increased, so we're just doing a more damage output for not only our pet but for Flak as well. We're also getting increased maximum health for the pet and Flak. The augments we've got in this skill tree are automatic aroma. So while Gamma Burst is active, Flak's pet is surrounded by a radiation aura. This is very radiation based, and our pet does a lot of damage, and that damage output is highly increased with the Gamma Burst abilities. We've got endurance, so when Flak or Flak's pet kills an enemy while Gamma Burst is active, the duration of Gamma Burst is extended and pet damage is increased. These effects can stack up to 5 times, so I'm getting extra damage output, and that's really helpful. And I've also got an ability with my class mod where my pet actually becomes really big and all enemies are focused on getting my pet, which really helps out for this build, and they just try and take it down, but my pet just annihilates. We've got nothing in the hunter skill tree because we don't really need anything from it. We've gone quite heavy in the stalker skill tree, so the first one we've got here is the attack command has lowered cooldown and increased damage, so we're getting another 30% extra damage for the attack command, and it's got a 30% cooldown rate. And with the loader bot, it's like a barrage of missiles, and they just deal out a ton of damage, which is exactly what we want. We've got ferocious attack, so this is a hunter skill again. After shooting an enemy, Flak gains a stack of furious attack. For each stack of furious attack, Flak's handling and gun damage are increased, and their pet gets an increased damage. So again, more damage for Flak, more damage for our pet. Eager to impress, so we've got 5 points in this plus 1 from our class mod. This is a kill skill, so whenever Flak kills an enemy, our action skill cooldown time is reduced. This also applies for our pet, so when our pet kills an enemy, our action skill cooldown time is reduced, and our attack command cooldown time is also reduced, which is really helpful. We've then got all my BFFs, so allies share a portion of Flak's total health regeneration. Flak's pet shares this health regeneration, so it just keeps him active longer. Lick the wounds, this is a really handy skill for any pet build because it means that our pet can revive us, and once our pet has revived us, it will get 30% extra damage for a short time. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it just gets you out of those tight spots a little bit easier. We've then got the Fast and the Furious, so while above half health, Flak's gun damage and movement speed are increased, and their pet gains increased damage again. So you can see I've got a lot of damage output going towards my pet, and that's why it does so much damage. Right, onto the weapons. So the first one we've got on the list is the Clockwork Res. Now this isn't great for damage output to enemies, but this gun has a particular ability which really helps out our pet. So this heals our allies when they're in fight for your life. All you got to do is shoot them, and this ability applies to your pet as well. So when my pet goes down, I shoot it with the res and it will be straight back up. I haven't got to go and revive it or run to it and revive it. I can keep my distance from everything and just keep going at it. I've then got the Soul Renderer, and this is a really good gun for this build because in this build, Flak's kind of taken a back seat. A lot of the damage is coming from our pet, and we just send our pet in and we just cover it from afar, and this gun just really helps out. It's got an ability where these heads go out and like home in on enemies, and it does a lot of splash damage, and we sort of get that from the action skills that we've put on. So Soul Renderer is a really good gun for this, and just the fact that you can use it from range is really helpful. We've got the Bat Burner, so this just helps us out. So if we go down to fight for your life mode and our pet can't get to us for whatever reason, the Bat Burner will get us an easy kill to get us straight back up. I've then got the Maggie because the Maggie's always a good gun and it's always very good in Flak's hands, and it'll just help out if I ever need it from low on ammo for whatever reason. We've got the Faulty Star, so this is critical to this build at this point because when we're using this and when we're damaged, it has a chance to trigger a Nova, and like I say, the pet gets a copy of this, and the Nova damage and the splash damage really helps out with that damage output for our pet, and as well as Flak. We've then got the Red Fang class mod, so this is really good for this build because it allows our pet to taunt all the enemies. So when our pet is in Gamma Burst mode and is, well, just grows, just becomes really big, all the enemies are focused on our pet. So we can just sort of find a high vantage point and shoot down at the enemies while our pet's dealing with all the damage, and all the enemies that are coming up and trying to hit our pet are getting annihilated by the Nova Bursts and the splash damage, and this just really takes advantage of this. You can see I've got the good rolls at the bottom as well with action skill damage and health regen, which is really helpful for this build. We've got Hunter Seeker, so this is again a good grenade mod to have from range because it will just go out and seek enemies. I've got a cryo one, so it slows them down, makes them a little bit easier to take out. I've then got a Snowdrift rocket boots. Now the artifact doesn't matter too much. What matters most is the bottom 3 rolls you get for the artifact. So I've got area of effect damage, that helps out with Nova damage and splash damage, etc. We've got action skill cooldown rate, which is what we want because when our pet's not in Gamma Burst mode, we want him back in Gamma Burst mode as soon as possible. And we've got a radiate chance. It's a very much a radiation build, this, and everything just helps out. And as you'll see by the videos, you'll see how I'm using it and how good I think it is. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So enjoy the rest of the videos, guys, and take it easy. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my channel for more Wing It Way content. But for now, it's goodbye from me.